Joy, you represent the non-tech in tech. And, when I spoke with you, this whole notion, we always have this imposter syndrome that sort of keeps us from doing stuff. And in particular, going into the tech space, if you don't have, multiple degrees in technology, it's intimidating in some ways. But as I spoke to you, not only are you not intimidated, you are taking it by a storm. I went to your site as well, and it's impressive. So talk to us about your experience with Facebook.
Absolutely. You mentioned the not having the degrees part. I was offered a full time job at Facebook before I had completed my undergraduate degree. So I really do think that there's something to the power of the pipeline of nurturing young talent. And that's why I'm excited that the word young was included on this panel. I got my start, surfacing product feedback to the Facebook groups team. Anyone can do it, anyone who understands people, culture, language, and then how to communicate to technical parties. I think that therein lies the challenge for someone who's non technical is to really understand the mind of an engineer, the mind of a product manager, so that you can communicate information about users, insights, whether it's research or just even marketing insights that's valuable for them to actually apply to the product and make it better. So I think that when it comes to imposter syndrome, you will of course have moments where folks are sitting down, whether it's breaking machine learning to you and explaining the algorithm and recommendation system. But I think that the culture of Facebook in particular is such that we are really encouraged to ask questions to anyone of any discipline and to be actively involved in making change on the platform. So we say that like nothing at Facebook is anyone else's problem. At Instagram, I think that's even more so. We can lean over to strategic partner managers or folks who work on branded content approvals and appeals and be like, well, why do you do it this way? And what's changed? And so I think just having that inquisitive mindset is an important skill. And that helps you get over the imposter syndrome because you realize you don't have to know everything. I think one thing my mentors and adults have been saying is, I realize people in tech aren't that smart, right? It's just folks who can either ask the right questions, ask plenty of questions, or organize resources, the people resources to get the folks that they need to understand what's at hand. So I think with my journey, moving from a coordinator to now fully managing the campaigns, it's just been about having the confidence that if I don't understand it or if I don't have a background in it, I can ask the right questions and get the information that I need. And then really like taking ownership of my talents because I think when we start to rank right brain, left brain, which is something that we do a lot in this space, we start to rank tech, non tech. That creates a really not inclusive culture when in reality, everyone is needed. When we say hard skills and soft skills, we start deprioritizing, right? So just really owning that no one can do what I do the way that I do it. And no one has this unique skill. So I'm bringing something unique to the table at any company that I'm at. And that's just something that I hope to encourage a lot of women in and girls in, especially when they want to step into tech. Like I speak about it almost every weekend. I try to find groups of girls to talk to be like, this space is yours too. And so it thrills me to see so many Nigerian women on this panel as well, because our parents are like, you need to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, and that doesn't leave room for all these other creative careers in technology that I think are worth getting into.
Um, Given that message, let's go to you, Joy, and talk about that personal brand and how that really will help you and encourage corporations to attract more like you.
I think that it's important for preparation to meet opportunity, and the personal brand should be the first stop in that. Instead of just trying to find work in tech or break into the company, think about who you are, what you're curious about, what problem you want to solve in the world, and how that relates to what the company is trying to do. So those little feelers and those value propositions, that's what I try to put out, marketing myself as I move through work and internships. And I think that by the time Facebook met me or Instagram or Google met me, they were deeply curious in the work that I had set up and the digital footprint that I had. So it's another thing that I encourage students to do, like through my online course or just through my work, is be the bat signal, right? Like the way that Batman runs to that signal and you understand who he is and what he has to offer. He's going to save Gotham. You should do the same thing, like be the bat signal to those companies, have them understand that when they interact with you, this is what they're getting, this is how you'll make them feel, this is the impact that you'll have on the company. All that's related to personal brand, and I think also to the find part, because you talked about find, retain, and then grow or keep. I think when they're doing the finding, we go to the same types of institutions, the same types of networks and career fairs. We need to start looking at, non-target schools, right? And people with different academic backgrounds. And then you'll start to see those bat signals of, wait a minute, if I bring in someone with a communication background or even a Portuguese study, like this is how it'll impact my business this way. And so I think just being open-minded will help you see those bat signals during the find part. And the personal brand has everything to do with that. To give us sort of insight into your grow. I think Facebook does that pretty well. So though the representation of Black women at the company is, by no means something that we are satisfied with, I think that they have a great community of ERGs, and that's what's really kept me there. So the employee resource groups, whether it's Black at Instagram, Black women at Instagram, Black at Facebook, Nigerians at Facebook, I'm a part of maybe 10 different denominations intersecting my femininity and my Blackness. That is really important to me to be able to, have that gut check of like, am I crazy? Did that just happen? And then make change at the company. And we have an organization called Represent, which is internal, that's Black and Latin marketers. So we've been able to use our community of employees within the company to improve the pipeline, working directly with recruiting. And those are ways that I think companies can invite their employees to be at the table to help make those decisions and consult on the pipeline and actually make change, not leaving all of the work up to underrepresented employees, but at least inviting them to participate to improve the funnel.
Awesome, awesome. There's another comment from the audience, and it says that you women are amazing, and you are. Of course, you should know that. If you don't, I'm going to continue to tell you that. And thank you so much for what you're doing to open up doors for others to walk through. I want to thank each of you for participating in this panel because we don't get a chance to see this often. And so you guys represent an amazing part of the American quilt that we don't often get a chance to see. So thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for the work that you are putting forth, and we need you and more in tech.